I was just in the mood to get it started.
You gotta record, dude.
Hello, happy campers. Spike, late show.
How long has
The
it
late
been
show. 15
15
minutes now and counting. Well, hey, at least we're showing our logos back here if you weren't blocking the thing. Your wide load. Anyway, hello, happy campers. So we got stuff to talk about. Sort of. I do want to say something real quick because we are recording this February 28th, 2021. When I'll get the episodes out, I have no idea. I still have parts from last week we haven't put out yet. Those of you who listen on the podcasts know that because I've only gotten about half of our stuff released on video so far on the YouTubes, and the entire enchilada is always available on the podcast. I put that out first as auditory, and you can get that on Spotify, you can get it on Apple Podcasts, you can get it on wherever you get your podcasts, or you can get it on Anchor, which is like, there's like 3 people paying attention to our Anchor feed right now.
Goodness.
But hey, $2.27, just folding money. But anyway.
And we might actually try.
No, we won't.
As soon as I figure out how.
No,
We might.
No.
We might.
No.
Okay, I'm not even going to mention it because you're going to
Lying liar. You're talking about trying to start doing the Zoom thing, doing live broadcasts.
No, not Zoom. It's not Zoom.
It ain't Zoom.
Not doing no Zoom.
Wasn't that a PBS show anyway? It was like right after 3, 2, 1 Contact.
I thought it was a movie.
Mm.
With Tim Allen.
There's for Tim Allen. Actually, I need to review that show too. We got shows to talk about finally. Now that February's almost over. I remember when February actually used to be a ratings month. This was considered a sweepstakes month.
That is true.
That has apparently just gone now, because used to be February was spring, May was for summer, and November was for fall. And apparently all of them just gone. Nobody cares.
Like a
anyway,
in the wind.
they have Tim Allen's back in a new show called what was it? Oh shoot! Assembly Required. It's one of the History Channel.
Yeah, but
Shows him and Richard Karn back together doing a DIY thing.
But isn't that more of a serious thing, or I didn't
It's
know if it was
supposed to be kind of a competition thing, but they like sit there and get their digs at each other pretty much.
Oh,
kind of like
okay.
what we do. We get our digs in.
Well,
in other words, I get my digs in on you. Tim Allen gets his digs on Richard Karn. You guys can't really.
So I'm
keep
a
up.
Richard.
You're Richard Karn. You're the one with facial hair, not me. I'm the one dealing crack. Everybody forgets
He's
about
not.
that part.
He's not.
Everybody forgets that
not.
part.
We don't know what they're talking about. Jeez, he's not dealing crack. Okay, don't take that serious. I actually was going to, I had a story, or not a story, but part of the news that had to deal with the vaccine. But then I was like, wait, nope, I'm not even going to mention it, because apparently if you mention anything that deals good or bad, you might get kicked off the air. So, not going to do it. So,
Masks don't work. Anyway, the that takes care of YouTube right there. Now, what are we going to tell our Facebook and Rumble audience now? Because YouTube just kicked our asses off. I know. Should I talk about how ineffective the vaccines have been so far, or should I talk about how the positive flu results have completely disappeared, or should we talk about pop culture and stuff, the important stuff?
let's talk about pop culture, because
pop culture.
let's face it, that's what you're here for, right?
You don't want to hear me talk about what the CEO of Goya Foods just put on CPAC about 15 minutes ago, talking about how Donald Trump is the real legitimate president of the United States. That happened.
I still can't.
So by the time we get this onto YouTube, he's probably been canceled again.
I can't believe the impeachment was still going on. I'm like,
everybody's bored. The Democrats don't know how to win, but that's political stuff. I've tried political stuff. I don't need the political stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about
stupid
stuff.
Let's talk about stupid stuff.
Oh,
Speaking of stupid stuff, what did Ray Fisher do this time? You didn't want to talk about Ray Fisher, though, did you?
No, I did not.
No, he did not. Let's move on to other stupid things then. What was J.J. Abrams doing? Oh, wait. Never mind.
Are we doing the reviews on the show?
Let's do the reviews on the show then. You can see how well organized we are. Okay, let's talk about the big one first. Or I tell you what, why don't we just say, let's stop this video right here and let's go to the next video. Let's talk about Lois and Superman, or is it Superman and Lois?
Superman and Lois.
Okay, I can never remember which one gets top billing. But
yeah. Considering
Lois turns up a lot more than Superman does in this episode, but still.
True.
But and they both have. For anybody who's actually seen the show yet,
I'm not going to say it on here, but I said earlier.
For anybody who's actually seen the show by now, do the actors playing Clark Kent / Superman, spoilers, and Lois not look like you could like slice cheese on their cheekbones or something? Those are some sharp cheekbones. What is wrong with them? You mentioned they looked anorexic earlier. Well, we lost Facebook. We're body shaming now.
We're body shaming, yes.
Yeah, I got rid of body shame. Yeah. Yeah, right here is your body shame. Anyway. Go ahead. You do better on the reviews than I do. You go ahead and
so
tell your
anyways, yes. If you guys have not known, there's a new show, Superman and Lois.
It's on the CW, but don't hold that against me.
Yes, it's on the CW, and it was one of those shows that, you know, like, okay, the trailer, I got to admit, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, okay, that actually looks good, but I didn't have too much faith in it. And now, hold on, I'm not going to say I have too much faith in it now either. Okay, just because one episode was good doesn't mean the rest of them is going to fall.
Yeah, let's not forget, this is a 90-minute episode, and they did a 30-minute making of the episode, which is sort of an extremely CW thing to do.
I didn't even watch it, honestly.
I didn't either. But I don't care. They made it. What do I care how they made it, or who they made it, or why they made it, or how they made it, or made it, faded, minute mated, whatever.
But, yeah, this, so far it's only one episode in, and to be honest, I freaking loved it. I did. I loved it. The storyline's really good, which is weird because it's CW. The acting's really good, weird because it's CW. And the special effects were really, really good. Again, weird because CW. Even though Stargirl had great special effects too. And it had a great storyline. Kind of went off a little bit with me afterwards, but still good.
The CW. The CW it's kind of like kryptonite. The radiation affects it over time.
One of the things that really got me though is that where I've watched the original Superman shows, I've watched the Lois and Clark TV series, I watched the animated movies, the animated TV shows and all that, and I got to admit, this first episode is probably the best thing I've seen out of Superman in a very long time. As for, hey, what happens to Superman in the future? Like, where is he? Oh, he's on a farm, married to Lois, has 2 kids. Hell yeah. You know, he's still Superman, but he's living a life. This is like retirement era for him, I guess you can say, right?
Yeah.
Almost.
He's trying to step it down.
But yeah, I love the story. This is actually like legit good. I loved it. I mean, what do you think?
The reason I actually like this first episode, this is one of many, many, many DC shows that Greg Berlanti produces for the CW. Okay, Greg Berlanti is the guy who did The Flash and Arrow before it, and he also does a bunch of other things. He doesn't do Stargirl. That's Jeff Johns doing that.
Right.
But he does have his hand in it, and he's basically the go-between DC and the CW. I don't know why. The CW has a reputation of being an angsty teenage girl network. You always have shirtless boys around, or at least shirts open. It's pretty much like the Playgirl channel, but it's a bunch of smooth-chested 20-something men acting like they're 16. Okay?
Yeah,
that's the CW network, you know. And DC shows. Now, Black Lightning, I think, was probably the best DC show on the CW.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to start their last season, but at least they know the end is coming, so they can bring it in for a landing and stick the landing. It's been good, okay? The Flash, I still follow it, but there is so much wasted potential there. So much. It's irritating because as a creative type, I can see the mistakes they're making. They've gotten lazy on the writing. They've gotten lazy on the plotting. With Superman and Lois, they're taking a concept. Basically, they're taking the concept from DC Rebirth, which was done back in 2016. Superman and Lois, their world is dead. The old school DC universe is dead. They managed to escape with their son Jonathan, and they start a new life on the new DC Earth, whatever you want to call it. And that was DC Rebirth. The world dies and it's reborn. It was an awesome idea and accepted very, very well. They even got a spin-off out of it called Super Sons, which is where Batman's biological son, Damian Wayne, Robin, teams up with Superman's biological son, Jonathan Kent, and they go be the world's second finest couple, whatever. So it's kind of curious to see where they're going to go with this. They treat rural life with a hell of a lot more respect than anything else I've seen on TV in ages, okay? Here's an idea. I want you to go through, I want you to look at any fictional anything. Go back 50, 60 years, all right? Go all the way back to I Love Lucy. Go all the way back to Milton Berle. Every rural anything that you've ever seen usually involves hay seeds, sticks, boondocks, some kind of humbleness or something. Green Acres and the Beverly Hillbillies are the two stereotypes you get of rural living. This one shows what it's like, some of the complicated issues that farmers and people who live in rural communities have to deal with. So I got to admit, I was kind of impressed with that. I hope they not to focus on rural life as the center of this, because it's not. It's Superman and his family. This really is the Superman family here. And so that needs to be the focus, but to continue to treat small town America with respect, at least as a good place to be. Although it is curious to see where they're going to go with Morgan Edge, if they're going, I don't want to spoil anything because I've seen what Morgan Edge has done in the comics in the past. They are, with these DC shows, usually draw something from the comics. Flash didn't do it as much as the others, but Stargirl draws a lot more from the books than anything else. And it looks like this show will as well. So, if it's going to be curious to see what's going on. But I do have one question. This one pointed it out to me before we started recording this video. The beloved wife also pointed this out. Did you look at the back of... Okay, spoiler alert. Heads up. Spoiler alert. At the very, very, very end of the show, the guy who stabbed Superman with the kryptonite dagger, and can we please give up the kryptonite daggers? It was cool the first time. The second time is getting tiresome. The third time is going to count down. Okay, now. So we now know, spoiler alert, that's Lex Luthor. Again with the Luthors. Leave Luthor alone, y'all. Did you notice the back of his head? He takes the helmet off. I did not see this. This one saw it. The beloved wife saw it. That ain't a white guy. Okay? So now we've talked on this show before about race lifting and how it's a lazy way to reinvigorate a character and stuff. If done properly, it can open an entirely new discussion and expose a new audience to concepts we didn't know before. But it's usually not done well. It's just there because, hey, we need more black people on television. So there you go. Black people cannot, here's the unspoken thing about race lifting, okay? Black people, Asian people, Hispanic people are not good enough or talented enough to get on television, so we need to give them token representation by taking white characters and turning them black or Hispanic. Usually not Asian. I take that back because they don't respect Asians at all. Anyway, if they go down this road, if this is the road they're going down, I have seen no chatter about this online at all. If Lex Luthor is black in this show, what happens? What do you think the social justice warriors are going to do when they find out that a white villain has been turned black? They're making a black man look bad. Even though Lex Luthor is one of the most effective and dangerous villains of all time. And honestly, I think for all these gangster rap fans and gangbangers and stuff, they would actually like to see a black Lex Luthor because they have very low standards to begin with. If you're a gangster rap fan, well, besides being 10 years out of date, you have very low standards. So that might appeal to them. But what do you think our social justice warriors who are sitting here screaming at Gina Carano because she's too feminist, huh? How do you think they're going to react? I'm just curious to see, one, is this actually going to play out? Because I didn't even see it. Like I said, I'm not seeing any chatter about it. Chris saw it, and hey, newsflash, Chris is black. This is, yeah, I know, the beloved wife, she is also black. I know she's still shocked when she looks in the mirror sometimes. But anyway, they noticed it, I didn't. So I'm kind of curious to see if anybody else notices it. I'm going to keep an eye out on the chatter. As for an overall rating for the show, I would give it a B because it's got room to move. They need to finish. They need to start expanding the storylines.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the characters. I'm looking at the plot lines. I have an idea in which directions they're going to go. I hope they don't. I hope they surprise me. Because if I can see it, and Chris, I'm an idiot, right?
Well,
we already determined last week I was an asshole.
I'm your brother, so I can call you.
Of course, you know I'm an idiot.
But I still respect you.
Anyway, I'm an idiot, and I can see these things coming. Like, okay, I'm going to give you for example. I want to see what you think. Okay, you got Superman and Lois have two boys. Okay,
yes.
You have the well-adjusted jock, and you have the young. Well, they're actually twins, and
I don't see that.
The dorky, dark-haired, angsty one that is required of every CW show needs angst. Turns out the dorky, angsty one has powers. The jock does not. The jock is going to be in a powered suit of armor, looking like Iron Kid by the end of the season. Or somewhere in the next season, if it makes it season 2. He's going to be the bad guy out of the family. He's going to be the bad seed. Please prove me wrong, Superman and Lois.
I hope that you're not right about that.
That is lazy storytelling, but you can see it coming from 1,000 miles away, so throw us a curveball.
There's some things in this show that I got to admit really surprised me. Like, it dealt with, like, oh, there's two kids in this show that actually has, like, real conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, you're actually, like, going there. I was actually shocked. I didn't mind it. I was just like, that's good. To me, that's actually good story writing to actually show, yeah, there's people with issues.
It's good story writing. Hold on, it's good writing if you don't do it stereotypically. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, the younger one. I keep wanting to call him the younger one. Okay, one's Jonathan, and who's the other one? Jordan? Jordan is the younger one, right? No, Jordan is not the younger one. They're twins. Jordan is the one with dark hair who has powers. Jonathan is the jock, right?
Oh, that would make sense.
Oh, my God. Okay.
But yeah.
Jordan has... I don't know if he's on the autistic spectrum anywhere, probably high-functioning Asperger's, if nothing else. But the fact that they're not just showing him in a stereotypical fashion indicates they're putting a little more thought into the writing.
They did go a little bit overboard with him being like, "Why didn't you tell me? I hate you."
Yes, because it's the CW and they have to have drama.
Yeah,
they need the drama princess, man.
But I mean, I get it half until it gets to that point, and it's like, dude. But another thing that I liked was, again, the jock brother doesn't act like a jock. He doesn't act like a total jerk.
Yeah.
And I like that. He's like, "Oh, I don't have powers, but you do. Okay, I'm fine."
Yeah, and,
like,
and that's actually...
I was like, yes,
I actually smiled a little bit on that one because he stereotypical, again. Typical lazy writer is going to be unpowered brother is mad at powered brother
exactly.
for having the powers.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
But he, instead, Jonathan says, "You know what this means, right? I actually earned my way onto the football team." So he doesn't have any powers. He really is that good, he thinks.
Yeah.
So he actually earned his way onto the football team. He's proud of that.
And also, what I got from the jock brother was that he was actually happy because he knows his brother goes through things. So he's actually, it's almost like he was happy for his brother to have something to be happy about, if that makes sense. Like even the girl, they both had their eyes on this one girl, but the girl had her eyes on the other guy, and he was like, "I'm not even going to fight you for it. It's like it's almost like he wants to see you happy, so he does it." And I was like, "This is good." They could have gone a whole different way, but that's the easy way out, like you said. Easy writing.
As a guy who's had to deal with these issues directly and indirectly. Directly, I'll go ahead and say it. My brain's been developing holes like Swiss cheese since Desert Storm, but that's why my memory doesn't work that well sometimes. But as somebody who has issues, I have family members who have issues like this. To understand, you're always, if you're related to somebody with, say, an autistic issue, Asperger's, something like that, okay? And that's what it's called. It's called Asperger's syndrome. Okay, it's not Asperger. It's Asperger. It's the researcher who helped lay down the autistic spectrum. Anyway, back to the storytelling. The people who are related to these guys who have these conditions, we are always looking out for that person with the condition. Okay, we're always on guard. We're always making sure that they're okay. They're centered. They're safe. They feel safe. Nobody's picking on them and stuff. You always walk around with like a cat would with its the hair on its back arched up. You're always kind of like tensed up and ready to step in and help this guy. Jordan having these issues and having the superpowers, what his brother Jonathan is doing is he realizes, I don't have to protect Jordan all the time anymore. He can actually stand up for himself. So if somebody jumps him or something, he's actually going to be able to take it and deliver a beating back. This is like a load off of Jonathan's shoulders, and it's not right that you do that necessarily, but the writers are showing considerable skill in showing that's what he's going through. So it's a nice little subtle part. There are layers here, and we've talked before about effective writing, and the hallmark of good writing is layers, because As a wise man once said, onions got layers, ogres got layers. So the more layers you can lay in there, the deeper your character becomes and the more intriguing it is to a wider audience. Can you imagine? I'm thinking the numbers on this one, the overnight showed 1.5 million people watching Superman Lois, which isn't bad for the CW, because I think Batwoman is now under 500,000. That's like the lowest in broadcast.
Because they can't do that crap right at all. Those are amateurs. But
that's bad writing over on Batwoman. But I'm hoping, I know I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch episode 2. I'm going to see what happens next.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested in seeing it. And then once this goes off, Stargirl should return, and then.
Well, what did you rate this?
I would give it a B, because there's still room to grow. There's still room for improvement. Come to me at the end of the season when they finish season 1, and I'll give you another rating.
Yes.
Hopefully a higher rating.
I will definitely give this a B too, because like everything you said, you say exactly what I say. So I mean, we're both on the same page. It's like I love it when you got a great story to tell. Again, this could go sideways. Just like, again, Supergirl. I still like Supergirl. I do. The only thing that pisses me off about Supergirl is that they never listen to the adults. And it's like, oh, we got this because we got superpowers too. Like, you never, like, they're bad guys. They're willing to kill. But yet you're like, well, I got powers. I can do it. You know. Who cares about training and all that stuff? That's where it really kind of just like irked my nerve, because every time it seemed like that they learned their lesson, they go right back to it. And it's like, you know what? Do whatever. Die. I don't care, you know. So, I mean, this show, I mean, even though Superman and Lois was only 1 episode so far, it's good. I just hope that they keep doing this, because one of the things that I loved about Man of Steel movie, and I kind of wished it would have took all the bad guys away, because we really didn't need Lex Luthor in this series at all, in this, especially in the first episode. Didn't need to do that. Could have focused on the family, and I would have been just happy. Man of Steel did this thing where it showed him as a kid seeing through everything and freaking him out. Him having different jobs and all of that. I would have been just fine if Man of Steel was just that, and then showing him become Superman. But instead it was like, oh no, it was jumping from here, 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 here. Oh, there's a bunch of bad guys. The world's being taken, or is being threatened by outer space and all that stuff. And it's like,
that was the one thing on this first episode that concerned me, and we'll wrap this here in a second. The tired old origin song. Is there anybody out there, anybody on the entire planet, who doesn't know Superman's origin yet? It's like, look, when you're 4, okay, you learn of 3 things when you're 4. You learn about the Tooth Fairy, you learn about Santa Claus, and you learn Superman's origin. Okay? Mm-hmm. That happens for everybody. At least they didn't dwell on it. They gave more of an origin for the situation that we find ourselves, that the characters find themselves in. So it's a good setup, and basically you're putting the bones of the house up, and then whatever happens goes around the franchise's bones. So a B, and I'm hopeful that I can't say it couldn't get better. It was really good. And I'm hoping that by the end of season 1, we'll be able to get it to an A, and then maybe get it even to a higher place in a season 2 if we can get to it.
Yeah.
Please. Okay. So now that takes care of our review of
Superman and Lois.